What is up, my fellow adventurers? This weekend we're up here in a little provincial park that probably not a lot of you have heard of because it's even hard to find maps or anything of the thing. We couldn't find a single one. And that's Noganosh. I keep wanting to say Noganosh, but I gotta tell myself, no, it's Noganosh. Castle actually found it online and said, hey, we should check this place out. What do you think of Noganosh so far, Cassell?
I'm pretty excited about it because I found it.
All we could really find on the place was a couple old YouTube videos. One by Lost Lakes and another by some random guy, just to get an idea. We have no idea where the campsites are. We ended up stumbling across this gem. Pretty nice view. Should be interesting. Cool. I think that's the first bear we've seen this year on a trip. This isn't good. It's a new place for us. We're starting here at ESS Narrows on Quagamog Lake, between Quagamog and Dollars Lake, I believe. We're hoping to find a campsite for the night on Quagamog because we only have a couple hours left before dark. And we had this brilliant idea while we were driving up here that, hey, maybe we should screenshot the map and kind of color in where the campsites are, and hopefully I'll post that at the end of the video. So if you guys want to come up here and do this place, you'll actually have an idea of where everything is, because we have no clue where the Portages are either.
I wonder if it's called Smoky Creek because it's full of stoves. We'll see.
Still in the fire ban, so it's gonna be weird to do a trip without having a fire. We're trying to come up with ideas to supplement the whole no fire thing. We'll let you know what we come up with. I'm not looking forward to the end of the day, cold nights, and not being able to sit around a fire. It's gonna suck. Black flies are unreal. This is wild. Anyways, let's get on the water and have some fun. Castle's paddling up ahead, but I'm sure she's thinking something about, oh my god, I love all the cedar trees. Because she really likes cedar trees. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like cedar trees too. She loves them. Sounds like a wren. Probably my favorite bird calls, especially the one that they do. It kind of remind me of a cell phone or something, like an old 90s ringtone. That's pretty cool. Our shoreline is very important. That's why every year we highlight it yellow. Beauty paddle across the lake so far. Calm, there's a little bit of wind. Perfect paddle in. That's exactly what I was hoping for, because hey, I worked today, so. And then we drove 2.5 hours or so to get up here. After loading all the stuff yesterday, it's nice to get up here and just have a relaxing paddle and not a fight against headwind. Looks like it'd be a cool area to explore if we weren't racing the dark. I'd love to climb around in those rock boulders a bit. Oh, I think there's a site right there. That's what it kind of looks like from here. Might have to be home for the night. We're pushing up on 8:15 and we still got to set up and stuff, so we're hoping this is our site for the night. It's just in the little narrow section. So far we're seeing quite a few sites. They don't look super well used, but used enough that they're obviously a site. This one looks like it has a nice view. Would conveniently have firewood if we could have a fire. The tent spots on this site are all kind of sloping. We found one that's very nice and level, but might be a bit of a safety hazard at night if you forget what side of the tent you're sleeping on. Got a nice drop to go over there. Looks like a fun fall in the middle of the night while you're half asleep. Would make a nice tent pad if it wasn't for that. God, I love the smell of sweet fern. It's all over this site. Nona, is it worth a cold canoe ride? Psycho puppy. She's trying to stab me with a stick. Yeah, she likes to bring us kindling. I can't complain. Although it's serving no purpose right now. Ugh, we're trying to come up with ideas to supplement the whole no fire thing. Give us that warm, wholesome feeling of having a fire at night. Yeah. We'll let you know what we come up with. So this is our solution for the whole fire ban problem. We stuck our headlamp in a pile of sticks on the red light mode. Actually not that bad. A little bit comforting. Nothing like waking up in the morning to the sound of 1,000 mosquitoes inches from your head. Apparently it's that time of year again. Ugh, not the nicest morning. A lot like yesterday. Not very pretty. Well, at least there's no wind. As soon as I said there was no wind, the wind picked up. I'm assuming that just means that the last few days of crappy weather we've had is rolling out. Looks like it's gonna rain, but I don't know. It wasn't in the forecast at least, so hopefully it holds out for us. I wonder if there's any health benefits to eating pollen, because I feel like we're gonna be eating a lot of it this weekend. So far I'm loving the paddling on this lake. Freaking gorgeous. Everything's just small channels, no big open water. Scenery's pretty nice, lots of little rock cliffs and interesting trees to look at. Definitely a good paddling lake. I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10, at least so far. A lot of the sites are pretty nice too, and we haven't seen a lot of people. Only one other group camping on a site just back a couple minutes ago, which is pretty low occupancy rate because we've seen a ton of sites. Well, there's our first boat. We've done pretty good so far. I mean, you can't complain too much about the odd boat on a lake with cottages on it, but honestly this lake is great. This should be a prime example of what a cottage lake should be, in my opinion. It's got cottages on it, but they're pretty sparse, and a lot of times they're hidden by trees a little bit, so it's not too offensive. You still feel like you're in nature. Kind of makes me sad to think that this lake probably won't look like that in another 30 years as progress moves north. But I guess that's the way of the world. It's going to be a sad day when the only places you can go and do this kind of thing are big provincial parks like Algonquin. They charge you through the nose to stay there and just experience nature. Something that used to be free. Well, looks like we found the start of Smoky Creek. There's a sign and everything. Super official. So hopefully the creek's navigable. From the research we did, it sounded like there wasn't a lot of portages and that on this route. So hopefully that's still the case. Yep, definitely portage. Just going to check out a little bit of it, and yep, starts immediately with a bunch of boulders, so I guess it's portage.
I wonder if it's called Smoky Creek because it's full of stoves. We'll see.
Okay, lay down. I'm gonna get the mosquitoes off. Well, we made it through the portage onto Smoky Creek, probably 100 meters or so, super easy portage. I always love paddling a creek because they're always like windy and you have to do a bit of moves with the canoe. Fancy paddle strokes and stuff to keep yourself going where you want to go. Kind of looks like there's been a recent beaver dam blowout here. The shoreline definitely looks a little bit low. Imagining what we just scooted over there in that narrow section was holding a lot of water back at one point. Hopefully that means this is still navigable. I've had experiences like this where it just becomes a mud pit near the end, or turns a 600 meter portage into a 2 kilometer portage across the swamp. It's always a fun time. Double signed. It looks like there's a canoe cart sitting there. And a lawn tractor. Can we use it to get our canoe across? Oh, the pollen.
Ryan's carrying it old school, even though there's a cart and a tractor.
You lay down? No, no. You make this so difficult, dog. You lay down? Well, that portage was a bit longer. I'm gonna guess it's a little over 200 meters. But still super straightforward and easy. Not very hard at all to follow. Thanks, Nona. It was super buggy though. I probably accumulated at least like 30 bites all on my arms while I was carrying the canoe. Constantly having to rebalance it and try and swat away what mosquitoes were trying to bite me on my elbow. And every time I'd probably hit 4 or 5 mosquitoes. Oh, one on Nona. Anyways, I think that was the last portage before Smoky Lake. I think we're on Smoky Lake right now, but we will see around this bend. Kind of appropriate to be paddling on Smoky Lake while all the wildfires are going on. Definitely got a haze in the air here, so it adds to the aura. Can't smell the smoke though. Keep expecting to catch a whiff of it. Nothing. I think we're almost at the end of Smoky now. Passed by a few people camped out and one guy paddling. Not sure if he was part of the same group, but still we're seeing most of the sites in here are vacant. Now, some of the sites in this, on Smoky Lake at least, have been signed, but still seeing the odd one that's not signed. There's one over there. I'm not sure if it's an official site or not. I'm not sure what I'm hearing in the bushes over there. Actually, I'm not sure if that's just the sound of the waves hitting the shore. Sounds super weird. First I thought maybe it was a bear rolling over rocks looking for grubs or something. Interesting. So I think we're passing into Noganosh now. Not 100% sure. Castle's navigating at the moment. So I think both of us were thinking this was going to be a portage. At least that's how it looked in the map. So we decided to pull over for shore launch at the first site we seen, which is actually a really epic site. Oh, figured we should get some food into us before we do some exploring on this lake. It's only lunchtime now, so we got plenty of time to see the sights before we gotta make camp. Probably hoping to make camp somewhere close to the narrow section, passing back into Smoky Lake. We might actually come back and stay on this site because it's pretty sweet. Very spacious site. Multiple tables. Can't complain. I don't know if I've ever experienced this thick of a haze before. God, the wind's been so nice to us today. Just a gentle shove in the right direction. Although, we're kind of wondering if we hear thunder off in the distance. We're just kind of exploring around Noganosh now, ducking in some little islands that are heading towards the Magnetawan, I guess. It's actually, I think it's an area of the Magnetawan I've been on before, but I'm not 100% sure. I'd have to go looking at the old videos. Pretty sure we took out or put in on Wawakesh. What was that, Nona? A mechanical sky dragon? Well, went down to the most southern point of Noganosh, and yeah, the lake's not super interesting, but paddling in amongst all the islands is pretty nice. We're thinking at this point we're just gonna start searching for a site. We've seen a couple potential ones on the way in, but nothing super spectacular. It'd be nice if we could find something where we can catch a nice sunset, because might be alright tonight, actually. And a swim spot would be key, because it's getting hot. I regret wearing pants. Ooh, it feels cold.
I think Nona fell.
What?
I think Nona fell.
always advise against looking at the water as you're filtering it. It's usually not appetizing. In this case, it's completely filled with bugs. Yummy. So after a bit of touring around and looking at a couple what I would call subpar campsites, we ended up stumbling across this gem. Pretty nice view. Up on a little cliff. The parking situation was not ideal, but it was a hell of a lot better than the bushy, buggy campsites we looked at before, which also didn't have views. It was kind of a weird area. There's lots of sites that you can tell, or well, they're signed no camping, even though it looks like they were campsites previously. And then there's a few with no signs on it, whether it's a campsite or not, but they're very obviously used campsites. We hesitated on a couple of those that looked kind of nice before we found this one, which was signed and was nice. But just be prepared for that if you're coming in here. Noganosh is not as nice as Smoky Lake was. When we were passing across Smoky Lake, we seen tons of cool campsites. Almost wish we stopped there, but that would have made a pretty short day. Beautiful time to go fishing. Just catching the last of the sun on the far side of the lake from our site. This is living, man. Black flies are unreal. This is wild. Never encountered so many. Well, maybe when we paddled the Black River last year. That was close. Wonder why. They're just all in the middle of the lake. And they just swarm the hell out of you. Gotta love the counters on this site. They went all out and put in granite. Ooh, fancy. So I think our plan for the day is to start working our way back out to Coegamog. I'd like to spend some time and explore Smoky Lake a little bit. Seemed like a super interesting lake, lots of pretty sights and that. And we just kind of passed it over, trying to get down here to Noganosh and spend some time on this lake. We're probably thinking just a site like pretty much right after the Portage if we can find one. Anyways, I'm gonna enjoy some coffee. Well, I'm glad we're getting this paddle out of the way this morning because we're already getting a bit of a headwind. Most of our big push is going to be in the morning, and then we got to repeat Smoky Creek, unfortunately. But at least we should have most of it out of the way before the wind gets too bad. I'm loving this route so far, even though it's just a simple in and out, which I usually like to avoid. I usually like to do a loop or a point to point so you don't have to see the same thing twice. But with all the islands and that in this place, you have a choice of which way to go. I mean, we kind of went down one side of the islands and now we're working our way back up the other side of the islands. So it feels like a new spot even though we're pretty much paddling the same route. coming back into the Narrows that separate Noganosh from Smoky Lake. If you are planning on doing this route, I definitely recommend probably planning in a night on Smoky Lake. I mean, from what we've seen, it seems like a super interesting lake, and campsites are epic. I mean, don't get me wrong, Noganosh is great too, but I don't know, I'd almost consider making base camp Smoky and then just paddling around Noganosh. Up to you. We're just at the portage that gets us back onto Smoky Creek, and I think we timed it just about perfect. The wind is starting to get a little pushy, and it's not in the right direction. Plus my butt needed a break, so yeah, I was actually excited for this portage. Well, the portage was a lot less buggy than it was yesterday. Still buggy, but nothing compared to yesterday. I think I only came out with 3 or 4 bites this time as opposed to like 30. I'll call that a win. Yeah, it's just a cub. You can see him up in the bushes up there. Surprised I spotted him. He was kind of buried in the bushes, and I just seen a brown butt sticking up. Cool. I think that's the first bear we've seen this year on a trip. We made it back onto Quagamog, and we're just doing a different side of the islands, the island chain going down Quagamog, looking for a site for the night. I feel like it's gonna be a super early day for us, but it's always nice to take it easy once in a while. I feel like we did a fairly big push yesterday and didn't really find a site until 4:30 or something like that, I think. So, finding the site by 1 o'clock would be nice. Maybe a swim. It almost feels like a swimming day. It's getting to that temperature. It'd be fun to try rock climbing. Holy, that was even crazier. It's not bad. Like initial shock, but it's not terrible. Oh yeah. Oh, I would recommend it. 10 out of 10. Well, that was a fun experience. We woke up from a little nap we were having in the afternoon to some bros drinking in a boat anchored just off our site for some reason. And yelling and swearing, and mostly yelling about how drunk they were. You sleepy, Nona? You're sleepy. Poor puppy, she's so sleepy. That's the problem with crown land a lot of times, especially if there's boat access. It's not as ideal as a park for the experience we're looking for. But hey, when it's free, you put up with a little bit more. Anyways, they finally decided to take off, so we got our peace and quiet back. What a beauty morning. Lake's just like glass. Should be a nice paddle out. We'll probably work our way out kind of slow. Probably take us out a couple hours to get out of here. There's a couple spots that we didn't check out on Thursday night when we came in because we were in a bit of a rush. So I'm probably gonna poke around those spots. One of them's a bay called Hole in the Wall, and there's a whole road named after it. Seems like a weird name for a bay, so we thought we'd paddle over there because it's not much out of our way and check that out. But yeah, thoughts on the trip so far? This place is pretty awesome. What do you think of Noganosh so far, Cassell?
I'm pretty excited about it because I found it and I just want Ryan to be happy.
Yeah, she gets credit for this spot. She did the research. I'll give it to her. Nona's canoe etiquette on the trip has been better than usual. She's getting better and better every trip. Almost to the point where I have zero complaints, but still hard to fish with her in the canoe. You stay, Nona. I want to get up there. Oh God. Uh-oh. This isn't good. Hopefully not. Nope, we're good. I think I just got too much of the crud built up under my foot. Thought I was going down there. We didn't spend the time to check this place out too hard on the way in, but we did notice this huge overhanging cliff here. And we're like, okay, we'll check that on our way out. But it's pretty cool in here. I keep looking at the boulder up there at the edge of the cliff, and it almost looks like it's just dangling. I don't even know how it's held there. Plus this whole wall has a big crack, if you can see it. But it looks like it's just about to shear off at any point and just collapse into this friggin' valley. This is nuts. Cool spots like this is a big reason why I come out here. So we paddled to the end of Hole in the Wall Bay, and yeah, nothing of significance. I think we were picturing like a significant rock structure or something of interest, but Yeah, it was a bust. Not sure why it's named Hole in the Wall. Maybe it's a inside joke with the cottagers, or an old resort was here called Hole in the Wall or something like that, because there was an old cabin kind of at the start of it, but yeah, no clue. So we're almost back at ESS Narrows, and kind of reflecting on the trip. Seems like we've probably seen more wildlife than we usually do on a trip. Seeing the bear was cool. Another thing that'll always stick with me in my brain on this trip is the pollen. There was so much pollen everywhere we went. Anytime the dog would shake, just a cloud of pollen would appear around her. It was kind of unbelievable. I haven't seen pollen like this in years. Made for a cool haze the entire trip too. I definitely recommend this trip to anybody. It's a little cottagey at the start, but that's pretty typical of any place like this, really. As far as a free provincial park goes, you could spend days exploring Noganosh once you got down there. You could probably make it a 6-day trip, 7-day trip, easy if you wanted to. Or really, as long as you want. It's just how long you want to spend in one spot. I mean, we like to travel a lot, but hey, each their own. Just having trouble finding the truck, but this slightly yellowish one seems to work with my key fob.